Okay, so this video I'm going to show you guys basically what a confirmation entry is. It's pretty simple, essentially. So let's say you have two zones. You have a H4 sell zone and an H4 buy zone, right? So as I mentioned, that's the first SOP. Needs to create an EG or an EF. So once price creates it, it'll break out. Obviously, price will come back into the zone. So once price comes back into the zone, you focus on the current market price. So you go to M30, and when you go to M30, price then needs to create a trade control to validate that the zone is going to hold, right? So then it creates another EG, right? And then the same thing. Now after it creates an EG, you then can go to either the M5 or the M15 and wait for price to pull back into that zone and look for your confirmation entry here. So the confirmation entry is going to be an M15 EG or an M5 EF. Very, very, very simple. So basically, it's just how we trade is with this strategy or this concept is this E to E, meaning EG, EG to EG. That's basically it. It's just engulfing to engulfing to engulfing, right? So let me give you some examples. So let's go to the 4-hour time frame. I have some examples here I'll show you. So let me just remove this real quick. So this right here, this EG buy zone, right? So we wait for price to come back into the zone. So price broke out, came back in. Now we're going to go to the M30 time frame because we want to find the trade control, right? So, oops. Is this the same zone? Yeah, okay. Yeah, so then this would be the trade control, right? So this is the trade control. Then you wait for price to come back into this zone here because this was the EG buy that was created within the H4 zone to validate it, that price is going to continue to go up. So then after that, you wait for price to come back into this zone, so you can go to the M15 or the M5. Let's go to this one first. So let's go to M15. So you see that price created an EG buy, right? So that's validating that the price is going to go up, right? So we don't know exactly how far price is going to go up. So price is going to go up most likely to the next zone or next level. So 30-minute is going to be the roadblock. So just kind of show you guys here. So if you bought here, the opposing zone is going to be here. So this is a roadblock. 30-minute is the roadblock, just so you know. So 30-minute you can use as a retracement entry as well. So that's a roadblock. It's an engulfing sell. Obviously you can see that price respected it. Now, why did price respect this? Well, if we go here, let's see if there's a trade confirmation entry. So, okay, yeah, so you can see that there's a confirmation entry, right? So this is the confirmation entry. Price created an EG engulfing sell. So that's why this level was respected. So if we go to M15 confirmation, that's the confirmation entry. And then so you can execute the trade after an engulfing, after the engulfing sell pattern is formed, right? You can either instantly execute the position, or you can do 50% of the 50% of the zone. Sorry. So you execute either 50% of the M15 zone, or you just instant execute as soon as price closes, and then where you would put your stop loss would be outside of the M30 zone. So let me just see here, just as an example. Let's say if you do 50%, I know it's not going to hit. So let's just say we did instant execution, right? So just as an example. Oops, that's wrong way. So here, okay. So here, you would do it outside of this zone to be safe, because if price breaks the M30 zone, obviously you're definitely wrong, right? Or you can do it on outside of the M15 zone, and then you would target the next opposing zone, which would be somewhere down here. I'm not sure exactly where it is 100 entirely yet, but risk to reward wouldn't be that great. So it's not necessarily about risk to reward. It's just about knowing how to get in and get out of the trade when it comes to this type of concept. So let's check out another example. So I go back to the 4-hour time frame. Okay, so let's see. What else do we have here? So we did that. Let's remove all this stuff. I got a lot of drawings. Okay, so let's take this as an example. This is an engulfing sell. So price. Did it break this zone? Let me see. Let me just double check here. Yeah, okay, so it did. So price broke the zone, then came back into the zone. So let's see here if there's any trade control for M30. Okay, yep, there's a trade control. Okay, so price, that's why price continued to go down. Okay, so this is the trade control. Okay, so then after we find the trade control, now we need to find the confirmation entry, right? So we look for the confirmation entry here. So we can go to M15 or M5. I'm going to go to M15 first. Okay. Oops. So if you go to M15, yeah, you have a confirmation, but you would have executed the trade at 50% of this level. If you were to execute it when the close, that makes no sense because price is all the way down here, right? So you can't really instant execute that trade. That doesn't make any sense. So here would be 50%, and it was still respected, and it came down here, and then obviously it found an EG buy that it couldn't break, so price continued to go up. So let's see if there's any earlier entries on M5, right? Because you can use M5 if there's an EF. So let's see. So let me just go here. Let me just delete all this stuff first. Okay, so let's try M5. I just want to make sure I have this place correct. Okay, M5. Okay, let's see. M5, okay. So let's see if there's an EF or EG, okay. Engulfing buy. Nope, there's no EF here. However, there's an EG here. You can take this. It still counts, and then you can enter in when price pulled back into this level, or instant execute, or 50%. You can see price came back into this level and it respected and dropped. That's still valid. M5, you're really looking for EFs. Engulfing failed, but you can use an engulfing sell. It'd just be a little bit more risky. It'd be just a little bit more risky, basically. So here's another one, right? So this is an engulfing sell. Yeah. And then you can, as soon as you have the engulfing sell, you can either instant execute the order or you can do 50% of the level. So whatever you feel more comfortable doing, and then just put your stop loss outside of the zone, above here, and then you're pretty much good to go. So let's get another example that I can share with you guys. So let's remove this. Let's find another zone. I think I did this. Did I do this zone already? I think I did. Okay, let's try this zone. This is an engulfing sell zone. So let's see if this one works. So engulfing sell. And then if you're wondering, where's the opposing zone, right? Where would you exit? Well, this would be the engulfing buy zone. So that's basically where you would exit once you got into the trade. So H4 buy zone, H4 sell zone. And then again, you go to you find the engulfing, right? Then price broke out. Then you wait for the price to get back into the zone, and then that's when you go to M30 and you look for the trade control. You always need to find the trade control. So let's see if I can find it. Okay. So yeah, so price broke out and came back. Yep, we got the trade control, perfect. So here's the trade control. That's why price continued to go down. So we have the trade control. Then again, you wait for price to get back into the zone, right? So again, you would either wait on M15 or M5. So let's go back to that area. Okay, price got into the zone. Once it got into the zone, you wait for a confirmation. M15 EG sell or an M5 EF. So let's see. Oops. Let me just see where it's at. Okay, here we go. Oops. Okay, so let me just zoom in here. Sorry, guys. Okay, so price got back into that zone. Then you would look for an EF or an EG. So let's see, engulfing sell, break, nope. So I would use this. This is valid. You can use this as well. That's absolutely fine. This would be an M5 confirmation entry. And then you would just enter at the after the breakout. As I mentioned, you can do instant execution, or you can do 50% of the level. Again, your stop loss would be above here. So that's essentially how you would take it. Now there's earlier entries that you could get as well, but these are pretty much the safer entries to use, right? So let's do this again. Let's see if we can find. Let's see if we can find another example. Okay, let's try this example here. This is an engulfing buy. H4 buy zone. Okay, go to M30. See if price created a trade control. Yes, it did. Trade control is right here. EG buy, so it's engulfing buy. Trade control, okay. Now let's see if we can find a confirmation entry within this zone. So price broke out, came back into the trade control, so now we need to find confirmation entry. So, oops. Okay, so let me first go to M15, see if there's anything there. Okay, so let's first go to M15, zoom this in so I can see. Okay, so yep, obviously there's a confirmation entry here. Oops, it's this one right here. Oops. Yeah, but you might have missed this because price had already engulfed and broke out and just kept going, right? So that's why you need to go through the M5 and M15. Sometimes you'll miss it, but if you just instant execute, you may get it, but it's a lot higher of a risk. So this is an M15 confirmation entry. But you would have missed it because price never came back into here, to the 50% level. And if you instant execute, then, you would have gotten it, but, this doesn't happen all the time. So, you have to be mindful of that. But I'm just trying to show you what the confirmation entry looks like to know that price is going to continue going up. Excuse me. Thank you. So go to M5. Let's see if there's another example in here. Let's see if there's an earlier entry. So let's zoom this in. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you would have been able to get an earlier entry. Price came back into this zone, created this EG buy right here. as an M5 confirmation entry, and then once price closed, it pulled back, you would have entered here, and then price went up. So that's why you got to go through M5 and M15 to see if there's EF or EG. But that's essentially how you do it. So let's go back to the 4 hour. Let me see if I can give one more example, just so this is kind of clear for you guys. Okay, so let's use this one. Let's use this zone right here. Let's use this simple sell zone. H4 sell zone. Okay, and then where would we exit? That zone's too far away. You could use this. It's a dominant zone. I'm not sure if I mentioned that yet, but I don't really use them that much. But if you're wondering, why price didn't come to this zone, and there's nothing kind of over here, that's when I tend to look at the double Maribozu, or dominant. I call them Dom, DOM. It's just double Maribozu. So these are the double OHLC basically. But for the OHLC, you can draw them as a zone if you don't see anything. So that's pretty much why price went to that level. So then you go to the. Let's just remove this. Just kind of show you. I'm just showing you entries, how to enter and validate the levels. Oops, sorry guys. Oops. Something is wrong with this. Let me just refresh this. Okay, go back to the 4 hour. Sorry about that. So, where was I? Oh yeah. Okay, so this level right here, right? Yeah, so let's look at this sell zone. Let's see if there's a confirmation entry in here. I mean, trade control, sorry. Trade control, yeah, so technically this would be considered a trade control. Now, it's within the 4 hour time frame, right? So I would consider this as and it's within the 4 hour sell zone, so it's still okay as long as it doesn't break the zone, but still, obviously it's a little bit more risky. But anyway, you can still use this because price did respect it and then went up and then came back down. So anyway, so let's just use it as such. This would be considered the trade control. Then I would go, but let me just check the 1 hour time frame. You can use the 1 hour time frame as well, just to kind of see. Yeah, you would have pretty much missed everything there. So let's just go back here. Oops. Okay, so let me just go here. Get back to where we were. So you'd look for M15. Basically, you're looking for, in here, you're looking for confirmation entry. So let's see if we can find a confirmation entry in that zone. So yeah, so you do have a confirmation entry, right? So price pulled back into the zone, right? And then if you set the 50% level, you would have gotten tapped in, and then price respected this EG buy zone. So yeah, it still would have been valid, and then you could have looked for another confirmation entry, just wait for another EG sell to form. I wouldn't consider that. I wouldn't consider that. This one I would consider, because I want to get it closer to the top of here. So I would consider that. And yeah, that's basically it. That's how the confirmation entry works. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. It's just waiting for, pretty much an engulfing or an engulfing fail in the zone. So once you've established the trade control, then you drop down and you just basically look for the same thing. Once price enters back into the zone, you look for, here's another one just as an example, right? So price created this buy zone. Price broke out quickly pulled back into it. So let's go to the 30-minute time frame and see. Price created this trade control here. After price tapped into it, right, it created this trade control. And then after that, price came back into the zone here. So let's drop down to the M15 time frame and take a look. And nope, I don't see anything there. So let's see if there's anything in M5. Let me just kind of zoom out a bit. Let me just try to find it. Okay, here. Oops. So let me just zoom in. Let's see if anything was created here as a result. Yeah, okay, so price created an EG buy here. As well as this would be, did it break that? Yeah, this would be an EF, but this is on M5, right? Yeah, so yeah, price did break that. This is an M5 EF because this is an engulfing sell that broke, and then price came back in and entered. And there's also a EG buy that was created right here. So price came back into this level, and then you could have just entered when it came back into the level, or set it off at 50%, and then stop loss below. Yeah, so hope that makes sense. Essentially, you're just looking for, let me just show you guys again. I deleted it. You're just looking for the engulfing buy or the engulfing sell, or EF, in the M15 or M5 time frame inside the trade control, like, once it touches the trade control. Yep, so let me know if you have any questions.